Okay, I'm Kaylee.
I'm Amy.
I'm Amanda.
Okay, I can be the lead this week. So the first question is, Dr. George Will discusses many important topics. Choose one that you're personally interested in, and then research it. So why did the government get involved in this issue? So what were both of your guys' issues?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was interested, he talked about kind of like the government's involvement in schools, and obviously we kind of studied like the Common Core things a little bit, but I looked just a little more into like the federal government's involvement, and it was interesting because the federal government didn't start getting involved until like pretty recently, like during the 1980s. Kind of when they started like thinking about getting involved, but then it wasn't like a big thing until like No Child Left Behind in 2001. And I don't know, I thought that was interesting that it's a pretty new thing.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I'll go. I did healthcare, and government involvement in that is also pretty recent, like their main involvement with Obamacare. And we all know that it happened just because they felt that not enough people had access to health insurance, or because of the poor population and all the immigrants that are coming in. So that's the one that I did.
Okay, sorry, I am listening.
No worries.
I did he talked a little bit about like food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because when my husband and I went to school, there were a lot of students. We went to chiropractic school, and there were a lot of the students that were encouraging us to look into food stamps and stuff. And I don't know, I just like they got involved because just to help low-income households pay for food. But I thought it was pretty interesting that Dr. Will talked about how pretty much we rely so much on the government for everything, and you don't want, I don't know, he kind of pointed out that you just don't want them to rely on everything for, to help out with everything in your family, in your life. So,
yeah.
What else? Did we go on to another question, or is it just?
No, just what issue, why the government got involved. So the next one is, has it been effective? What have been the results?
Okay, well, I can talk about mine. I didn't really answer the why did the government get involved. A big reason of that was just kind of like competing with other countries, and just realizing that America's kind of fallen behind as far as where we are academically in pretty much any field. We're kind of mediocre as far as countries go, even though we're pretty powerful. And then, like, as far as like how well it's been, because it's been pretty new, it's kind of hard to tell. Right now, it kind of seems like it hasn't been doing a whole lot of good. Like, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, people who aren't super fans of the Common Core standards or any of that. But at the same time, it's so new that it's kind of like an adjustment and an adjustment of teaching styles and like all these different things. So it's kind of hard to see if it's successful or not. I found something interesting that I found on it was like Finland, I guess, was like the top for like all areas as far as their kids go. And it was really interesting the things that like their school system does. Some of it is like they don't have special classes for like gifted students. They use very little standardized testing. And I found that interesting because like I'm doing my internship at a high school right now, and they test like every kid so many times. It's almost ridiculous how much they get tested. But yeah, and then also in Finland, college is free. I don't know. I just thought those were interesting things. But yeah, as of right now, if anything, like it's more of people's opinions of how it's working than like actual statistics of how it's working. So
I have a question on yours. I've heard that people believe that the schools are dumbing down the standards so that they can meet the requirements, because if they don't meet the requirements, they don't get federal funding. Do you think that schools are doing that?
Um, I don't think so, because I don't think that really makes sense that they would have to dumb them down. I mean, of course I don't know. It might be an exception at the high school that I'm at, but the kids are like put through so much and they like learn so much. I think it's a good thing. I think it also might increase like anxiety and stress in students, but I mean, I don't think by any means that it's dumbing down anything.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because they said that in order to meet the requirements, like they were dumbing down the requirements so that more students would meet those requirements so they'd get more funding. But I didn't know what I believed. I was just curious what you thought.
The reason why I feel like people think that is because they teach more for testing instead of teaching for the subject.
Yeah.
And I mean, at one, like on one end of the spectrum, like yeah, that makes sense that they're not getting as valued of an education. But at the same time, like I said, it's kind of that adjustment period. I feel like they're getting used to teaching this way, and they'll like figure out how to incorporate those little parts later on. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a new thing. It's kind of hard to judge right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard of, I remember when I was in school, they were trying to raise it, you know, kind of raise the bar for us. And then right now, I know of my mother-in-law's school, she works at a K through 12 school, so I don't know if it's like different or what, but like there's kids there that don't even know how to like spell their name. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, she says like it seems like in certain areas they are kind of dumbing down so they can help, you know, have those kids catch up. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's a newer thing. So sorry.
No worries.
I keep hearing different things. I guess it could be different anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, I can do mine. Mine was healthcare, and I think just like everything, there's pluses and minuses. One downfall that I see of it that has affected people that I know is that a lot of companies are no longer hiring full-time. Like they'll hire people for 29 hours so that they don't have to give them benefits. Or I know even at BYU Idaho, one of my good friends is a professor up there, and she's doing a year-long, she's teaching full-time for a year because they needed, like she usually just teaches part-time, but she's teaching for a year. But after her year ends, she can't work for them for 6 months, or they'd have to provide benefits for her for a whole nother year. And so they're not letting her work for 6 months so that they don't have to provide benefits, whether she declines them or not. So I know that aspect hasn't really been good, but I do know that people are able to get health insurance because of it. So I think kind of like the school, it's too new to tell whether it's going to be good in the long run or whether it's going to be more bad.
I think that one's a tricky one because, I mean, especially with Idaho, I know that like I met this girl and she came into our office one day. I work in the counseling office at the school, and she was saying that like her family doesn't meet the standards for it, and so they have to pay like $700 of insurance a month, and their family can't afford it because they're like paying too much. And I was talking to my sister-in-law about that, and she was saying that's only because Idaho opted out of like the AIDS of Obamacare. They kind of did their own version of it, which I know is true. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's kind of like they have to pay for it, but they don't get the benefits. Because if they were to have like more benefits of it, then it might be more helpful. I don't know. It's kind of what he was talking about. He was like, we kind of are in a society where we want all the benefits, but we want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And like, so those are two like you know, I don't know. Like the liberal side wants like benefits, but at the same time we don't want to raise taxes.
Yeah.
And kind of like, well, that's kind of driving our society down, you know.
One thing, going along with what you said, one thing I liked that he said was sooner or later you will run out of someone else's money, which is kind of like how I feel healthcare and Social Security and other things like that are going to go. Like sooner or later we're going to run out of money, and so it's either raise the taxes or drop all these programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I know what you both are saying. Like my aunt worked at a healthcare company, and like they laid her off because like you mentioned, like they're just firing people because of benefit. I don't know, something about benefits. But then also with Amy, are you from Idaho? Any of you from Idaho? Is that what
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I'm from Idaho. I'm from
Oh, okay.
Utah.
Because I don't know much about the insurance, but I know like my husband and I have been trying to look into insurance, and like we opened up our own business, so we're kind of like hit and miss with money right now. So like we don't qualify for like I mean we don't have enough to pay for insurance. So like yeah, we have to actually spend like an extra fee since we don't have insurance, and it's just like it's such a mess, I feel like. But like at the same time, I don't know, like my sister-in-law is on it and she like it's amazing. Like it's working out so much with her family because their income is a certain amount that they get, they get great coverage. It's just weird. I don't know how they're getting that great coverage, but I don't know.
Mhm.
Insurance is like a hit and miss. So,
Yeah.
anyways, with mine, what I thought was interesting with Dr. George Will, he said that 48 million, I think it was million Americans have food stamps. And I mean, I understand if like you're with when people lost a lot of people lost their jobs, and having that going through that scary issue in your life, like how are you going to be able to feed your family? And of course, like you're gonna like it's great to have that comfort, like okay, there's something I can rely on to be able to survive. So that's why like I see the benefit of having it, like going through like people lost their homes, lost their jobs, and so I could see how that could be good for them. But I feel like nowadays, like a lot of my friends, and then a lot of people. I used to live in Missouri, and like they had these interviews of these inner city ladies. They're like, why should I work when the government could pay for my food? They could pay for my insurance. They could pay for everything. Like everything's covered. So like I feel like there's some hit and miss with the results that, like with food stamps, like it can help a lot of families, but also like I feel like people rely on it too much that they're like, okay, well it's free. Like the students that when we went to school, like my husband and I could qualify for it when we did, but at the same time it's like we were doing fine we didn't need it because we could afford it. But so many people are like, okay, well I qualify for it that I might as well get the free stuff, and then so many people actually didn't progress onto what they wanted to do because they relied so much on like, oh, okay, well I'm already getting it for free. So, but that's kind of like what personal experiences and people like I've talked to that have it. I don't know what you guys think or what you.
I think that overall they're good, but that they've been misused.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think obviously, like, I don't know, with food stamps, I feel like they're a super good thing, and I feel like if anything else goes wrong in your life, if you lose your housing, if you lose anything else, like food is the one thing that you want to make sure that you give people.
Mhm.
So, and it is like, according to, it's funny because I actually looked up some stuff on it because someone else had mentioned they had looked something up for that for earlier on in the week, and like obviously this is to Idaho, but it said that like people who are on food stamps, they can stay on them as long as they want. But for other programs, it's like a 2-year maximum. And so, I mean, in that case, I feel like it's kind of good. And at the same time, like, it's kind of bad because it is enabling. Um, for example, my sister-in-law, his her husband lost his job, and he was looking for a new job, and he wouldn't accept a job that paid $200 more because um, the job because if they made $300 more, they would lose $500 in food stamps. Or yeah, and so wait, was that it? No. Okay, they would lose $700 in food stamps,
Mhm.
and so like that's like $500 worth of food that they can't get if they lose that food stamps because he made $300 more. So, I mean, it's a hard system. It's a hard thing to.
So, yeah, I agree. It's so weird because like I know a lot of people, and like My husband and I looked into it too because, like I said, we opened up our own practice and we've been not making ends meet sometimes. So I can see how it could be very beneficial and it can be helpful. But that's what the program was made for. I think is to help, help families to be able to get on their feet again and to be
Yeah.
able to,
Yeah.
yeah, to be able to find something to help improve their family and lifestyle. But like I said, like that interview, like just threw me off. Like so many people, I think it was like a YouTube clip, like a couple of YouTube clips where they like people ask questions and people are just like, yeah, I could still pop up out kids and get more money and I could like not get a job and I like they rely on it so much that it's just like, God, you can't abuse the system. Just don't abuse it. Like have more confidence in yourself but like I see what you mean. Like if you start making a certain amount of money, like they take a lot away and it's like it gets scary because it's still not enough to be able to pay your bills, but it's it reaches what I don't know how to explain it. I guess like it reaches what the quota is or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not making sense right now, but it's like all in my head. But yeah. Anyways, we can move on.
Okay. So based on George Will's speech, what could the government be doing right now to help this situation more effectively?
Well, for my topic, because I feel like he was saying things like, like creativity shouldn't come from the federal government, like these regulation type of a deal shouldn't come from the federal government. So, I don't know, according to him, I feel like he wasn't a huge fan of all of that, and the government should kind of, or at least the federal government should kind of more leave it up to the states, is kind of what I was getting, but I don't know if that's exactly right. So correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
No,
I
I got
think
that
you're
fair.
right.
Mhm.
And I think it was the same view on mine that the government shouldn't be involved in healthcare. Just like what I had said earlier, eventually we'll run out of other people's money, and so I think he was against it. And yeah,
Mhm. I mean, yeah, exactly. Going on with what you guys both said, he's against. Yeah, I feel like he's steering away from like don't. Yeah, he's just against it. I feel like I don't know. Am I right with that, or is that what
yeah,
you guys think? Like that
No,
doesn't really like the idea that the government can help us. Like we should be more like independent and.
yeah.
yeah,
But
his views were kind of interesting, and I actually looked up another YouTube clip on it, and it
mhm.
stated that he was more libertarian, which is probably why I didn't quite understand it because I'm not like super rehearsed in that political party. I don't really know much about them.
Okay. The last question: do you agree with Dr. Will?
On my issue, I personally don't. I mean, obviously, I'm a social work major and I'm a fan of certain benefits. And I feel like as far as like the school goes, I think it might be a good thing. I mean, some states were really lagging behind as far as the quality of education, and I know Idaho's one of those. And I feel like with time, we'll see if it's a beneficial program, but I don't think we should give it up right away.
Do you think it could be more beneficial if they raise the standards so that our standards are more equal to other countries?
I think that's what the standards are trying to do. I think at first they're trying to just get it so that everyone in America is on the same standards, and then I think they'll try and make sure that those are comparable to other countries. I think that's kind of the goal.
Awesome. With mine, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it because so my mom is from Canada and a lot of my family is up there and they have socialized medicine. And for them it's great because my grandma can go to the hospital and she paid $30. Like she had an ambulance ride, she had all these things done and she paid $30. And we would do that here and pay $2,000, $3,000. I mean, when my dad was in an accident on the sand dunes, we paid $20,000 just for his helicopter ride because the insurance wouldn't cover it.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
And so, so I don't know. But I think how the government is going about it right now isn't awesome because it is cutting people hours from work. It's
Mhm.
creating less jobs because people don't want to have to pay for benefits and pay like their wages. So I think it could definitely be improved,
Mhm.
but I'm not totally against having government health care because I know people that it has helped.
Yeah, I agree. My grandma's from Australia. I have a lot of relatives there, and they actually have like the same thing where they could go to a doctor's appointment and it's pretty much like free to them, or the hospital. But I
Yeah.
don't know how that really works with like my mom said something about they pay it back in some other way, but I don't know how that works. I
So
don't
their
look into it.
taxes are a lot higher. They're probably double or
Oh,
triple
okay.
what we pay here. Um,
That's true. That's true in
and
Australia.
so that's how they have socialized medicine. And everyone just like the day you're born, you get a card assigned to you, and as long as you have that card, you can go to any doctor, any hospital in Canada, and you won't have to pay.
That's refreshing. Because I
So
feel like here we're like I'm always in search of like a
you're like,
doctor that
is this
takes
a
Olivia.
doctor on my list?
Yeah, like you worry that like okay, does my insurance cover for chiropractic, or does my insurance cover for like this medicine, or does this pharmacy take my insurance? Like it's
Yep.
so frustrating, but I can see how that would be awesome. So
Yeah. At the same time, though, if you think about like what Dr. Will was saying, like if the bottom 50% are only paying 3% of the taxes,
Yeah.
mhm.
raising those
Yeah,
taxes by double is going to do, if anything, it's going to throw the middle class into the poor class.
Yep, exactly.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So does
That's why it's
housing.
hard.
Yeah, there's never like a perfect solution. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I agree with Dr. Will, like in certain things, like hit and miss, like like especially with mine, like where he says pretty much like don't rely on the government, and I don't know, like I've already talked about like food stamps, like where it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, and so like I can see where he's coming from, like people just like use it as a crutch, and
Yep.
so yeah. But like I liked what he was saying. It was pretty interesting to hear like his point of views and like yeah. So
Okay, let's see. In what areas do you feel the government should be involved or should not be involved regarding children and family?
yes. Let's see. Well,
I can hurry and just say one thing that I can think of. I really like, and it kind of goes along with the food stamp program, but I really like WIC. I know a lot of people that it helped, and even like my parents were on WIC when me and my older brothers were younger because my dad was making like $7 an hour, and there was 3 kids under the age of 4, and so that's what they used to get, the groceries and everything, and to them it was helpful. And with WIC, it's a limit. So once the kids, I think it's like 6,
mm-hmm.
5 or 6, once they turn that age, then they can't do it anymore. And another thing I really like about WIC is the parents have to go to classes to learn, like, this is proper nutrition, this is how you should feed your kids, this is safety for your kids, like around the house, so that it's not just here, come get free food. It's come learn about nutrition, come learn about your child's needs, come learn about safety. And so that's one area that I think the government has done really well in helping the
Olivia.
children and families.
Olivia. Okay, sorry. No,
No
I
worries.
agree. I actually like the WIC program too because okay, from Missouri, people always just went to the food stamps because it was so much easier. Like they just, you just did an evaluation and then they like gave you a card. But WIC, you have to like go to the center, like you actually have to work for it, and like you have to go to the center, pick up like I don't know if it's like cards or like
I think they're little coupons or something.
yeah, like coupons or something, and then you have to like find it in the store and match it up, and then usually at the store they like you have to put the WIC stuff in front, I don't know, and then match it up pretty much. But like, and they also make sure that you have a job. Like I
Yeah.
know one of my friends, they like you said, they go to classes, but they also make sure like you have some sort of job. Like you're not just sitting at home and
I
relying on
think
the
you
government.
either
Like,
have
you're
to have a
working.
job or be in school.
Yeah, either or. So, and that's what I respect that. Like,
Yeah.
so I can see that. That's a good point.
I agree. I think proactive approaches like that would be better. Just
Yeah.
anything more proactive than a handout.
Yep.
And then they don't really keep track. Like with food stamps, they say like, hey, if you know someone's abusing you, you can report them. But like, how are they going to know that you're buying food for
Yeah.
someone else? Or
And
I
why would
mean,
you report your friend? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
especially if
like
you're getting benefited from it.
yeah, like. Because then if they report it, like if they say, okay, sorry, I bought my mom dinner one night, and then you tell them, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to take your card away. And like no one's going to do that. Like people abuse it so much that it's, like that's why I like the WIC. Like they limit you, they give you stuff that's more essential because food stamps cover like, they can cover anything except for like energy drinks and cigarettes, you know,
Yeah.
like, but like, yeah, the WIC though, it's like bread, eggs, milk, like essential stuff. So that's what I
Yeah.
like. Anyways, I'm going on.
Okay, is there anything else you guys want to add?
I'm good.
Awesome. Okay. So for the summary, we talked about just different issues, government involvement. So we talked about food stamps and how they got involved in schooling and in healthcare. And we all agree that to some extent, government involvement is good. Like there's good and there's bad in all aspects of government involvement. And in the schooling aspect and the healthcare aspect, they're too new to really tell if they're going to be more beneficial than not. And then the food stamps, we felt that though they were good, they're being abused a lot, the privilege of having food stamps. And then we agreed / disagreed with Dr. Will, so there are aspects that we agreed with, but we didn't wholly agree with him. And we really liked the WIC program because it wasn't just a handout. They had to earn it, and they had to take classes, and it was just a really good setup by the government. Anything else?
And that was
Sounds
great.
good.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for meeting.
Thanks for conducting, I guess.
You're welcome.
Have a-
Okay. Have a good
All right.
weekend.
Bye.
Next week at the same
Bye,
time?
guys. Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.